I'm not going to go into great detail about this news because people have already talked about this news to death. But just in case you haven't heard, Nintendo recently announced that they are going to be partnering up with a mobile game company called DNA. And apparently it's a really big mobile company in Japan. I'm not really sure where they rank globally, but after many people have been asking Nintendo to do this, they're finally taking the charge and dipping their toes inside of the mobile game market. And based on what has been reported, they did state that they're going to be making software specifically for smartphones, but it won't be the core games that we will see on 3DS, Wii U, or any of their own devices. So I guess it would be things like, I don't know, Mario Shuffle, or like, I don't know, like a pinball game or something like that. Something that pretty much gives them another stream of revenue, and something that kind of bridges the gap between the applications that will be found on smartphones to possibly creating new audiences to their devices. What they also talked about was something called the Nintendo NX. Because they were talking about smartphones, they didn't want to mislead people to think that they were going to be leaving the console market to make smartphone games. So they did say that they're going to be working on a new platform codenamed Nintendo NX. And they didn't really provide a lot of details about this. So apparently it's supposed to be something that they're going to be talking more about next year. And they're also going to be bringing a new, I don't know if it's a membership or if it's a subscription. I have to go back and read more about it. But they're going to be bringing something to replace essentially Club Nintendo this fall. And so as a result, you got people running amok as usual, which is not unheard of. This happens every time Nintendo announces new news. It's crazy because Nintendo, obviously they're a Japanese company. A lot of the things that they say, they discuss in their native tongue, which is Japanese. And, you know, even the people, the representatives over at Nintendo that do speak a little English, like Iwata, he speaks English, but obviously that's not his first language. So some things that he says in English could be misconstrued, you know, versus him saying something in his native tongue, which is just something that happens in general across languages, you know, whenever you're trying to translate and things like that. So, but one thing that about this particular announcement is that they've been very clear cut. It's been translated to the T because they made it like a global announcement. They even released press releases. I received the press release, so I know that there's been press releases. There's even a press release on their actual website that explicitly explains what exactly is going on, what their future plans are, what's going on with DNA, codename NX, and whatever. And you still got people running around like chickens with their head cut off, like it's the end of the world, the sky is falling. Oh my god, Nintendo is abandoning the console market and they're gonna go make smartphone games. Oh my god, Nintendo is abandoning the Wii U for the codename NX. Like, people are just taking what they see in the headlines and running with it without actually reading up and digging up the information. And sometimes I understand, like I said before, sometimes due to translation issues, some of the things that Nintendo says are very cryptic. But this time, it's very clear cut and in your face, so I'm not really sure where the Pandemonium's coming from. It seems like sometimes people kind of go out of their way just to misunderstand Nintendo, to twist it and turn it to what they want it to be. You know what I mean? Like, not trying to sound like I think there's some kind of conspiracy against Nintendo. I don't think it's that serious, even though I do think that Nintendo does kind of give some people, you know, a bad vibe and for whatever reason. But in this particular situation, it really doesn't make sense because it's cut and dry. And so to that, I just want to say, like, people who don't know anything about console gaming beyond what they've witnessed this generation and last generation, they really just need to shut the F up at this point. Like, I'm getting so sick of these new gamers, and I know that sounds very self-righteous of me, but I'm just so sick of these new gamers coming in, talking about stuff they don't know about, causing a ruckus, causing pandemonium, causing people to freak out because they don't have any understanding. in the press release, you know, they did say that they're gonna talk more about codename Nintendo NX next year. Okay, so in November of this year marks the third year of the Wii U. And generally speaking, Nintendo console cycles have lasted at least about 5 to 6 years. So if they're going to be talking about codename NX next year, which will mark fourth year, then there's a good chance that whatever new console Nintendo's working on is not coming out until at least 2017, 2018. And like, if people actually thought about it, like, they wouldn't be freaking out, because it's really something that all console manufacturers do. Sony's currently working on a PlayStation 5. Microsoft is currently working on whatever the next Xbox is going to be. I mean, like, it happens. Like, when a console comes out, they automatically start making, or start at least beginning the planning stages to make a new console. Like, that's the industry, people. That's not new. So I'm gonna need y'all to chill out. And to those of you guys who are rejoicing about Nintendo making smartphone games because you think that means you don't have to go out and buy a Nintendo console, you're going to be sorely disappointed when you get Mario Runners versus Mario Galaxy HD on your smartphone. With that being said, chill out. It's your girl Dia, and I'm out. Peace.